This story is Captain Santana Flies Again, condensed version. It was a time when laughter and happiness were on ration as much as meat and butter. Yet in a smoke-filled pub in downtown London, both were present in abundance. The cause of the commotion, the reason for the laughter, was a jolly man with a full white beard, a disarming smile, and infectious laughter. No, you're thinking of the other guy. Captain Walter Ellis Santana, retired, was doing his bit for the war. Not the phony war of Neville Chamberlain, but a different war. One few knew about, and one that many later would deny. Santana leaned with his back to the bar, his arms folded carelessly across his chest. He wore a dark leather flight suit and red thermals. He could have worn his civvies, but people expected to see any man with more than 3 teeth in uniform, and most of them in the pub had both. "Gentlemen," Santana called, "bets, 2 on 1. Take a bit home to the missus, eh?" Before him, on a table, lay 3 items of great interest: a table knife, a folded napkin, and an empty wine bottle with the cork pushed down inside. "The rules are simple," Santana said. "I get the cork out of the bottle using these 3 items in 30 seconds or less, or all bets are double." "Can't be done," says a fat man, bald and sweaty. "Bets in," says a thin man with a watch. 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1, right, Santana said. He stepped up to the table and grabbed the napkin, spun it into a tight twist, jammed it into the bottle with a knife, upended the bottle and gave a mighty yank on the napkin. Like the opening of champagne, the cork flew out of the bottle and ricocheted off the mirror. The bar erupted into raucous chaos. Some of the men frowned, most of them laughed. It was a good show, one well worth a few shillings to forget those worried faces back home, and most of them relinquished their bets onto the table. One man, a petty officer in the Navy by the uniform, slapped his money down with a grin and pointed. "Well done, Captain. Worth the price of admission, what? Be using that trick a time or two myself. Soon, that is." The man winked and backed away. Santana guessed the man and a few of his buddies would be back later to have a talk with him. He quickly pocketed the cash on the table. He had no reservations about taking the money from these people. Most of it would be pissed away otherwise, and there was still a payday before Christmas, so there was little harm in it, and some good otherwise. Waste of a talent, if you ask me. The man who spoke was short, maybe 5'2". He wore a long black leather coat and stood like he was the most important man in the room. "Sparkane, you hemorrhoid," Captain Santa cursed. "What are you doing here?" Sparkane pulled back a stool and with a great show of effort took a seat. "New legs?" Santana asked. Didn't hear the usual clanking and hissing. Sparkane pulled up his trouser leg to reveal a brass mechanical ankle with quite a few tubes and wires connected around it. "What are you up to, you old fool?" Santana looked surprised. "Same thing I do every year, Sparky. You know that. Not your stupid play. I mean tonight, these past few months." "This? Well, you know, just taking donations." "For the widows and orphans?" Sparkane asked. "For passports and travel permits, but you already know that." "Of course," Sparkane replied. "But you're ruffling feathers. Some powerful people might like to ask you to stop." "They'd have to ask me pretty hard." Santana picked up his beer. "Is that why you're here, to do the asking?" "Oh, bugger them," Sparkane said. "How'd you like to fly again? For us?" "In what?" Santa scoffed. "A weather balloon? I can get you the sleigh back." "That old bag of gas?" "Keep it and sell it for scrap for all I care." Pretty much, but we were thinking of something a little more modern." In spite of his bravado, Santana looked hurt. "Twin-bag dirigibles," Sparkane offered. "Differential engines." "Twin bag." "Let's walk. Too many ears here." Outside, a light drizzle discouraged loitering. Even so, there were still late-night revelers staggering about. "Twin bags," Sparkane said when they were alone. "Sounds like a giant floating whale with a bright red 'come shoot me down' target painted on it." "Could be," Sparkane agreed, "or it could have subplasmic helium with emergency steam backup and be about half the size of the original. Want to know the best part?" "Wait," Santana turned. 3 men had followed them into the gloom. "That's him." The speaker was the same sailor that had harassed him earlier. The other men Santana didn't know, but he knew their type. They were the kind of men you carried a little present up your sleeve for. The sailor held back. The 2 toughs approached. Santana and Sparkane stood passively. "Ruffled feathers," Sparkane said. Scram you, said one of the guys. Sparkane stood his ground. Not happening. Your funeral. The tough grabbed Sparkane's coat and tried to lift him. You don't want. Sparkane pistoned his mechanical knee upward into his attacker's groin with enough force to crack the man's pelvis. The man threatening Santana pulled a long, wicked blade and then lunged. Santana used a short metal rod known as a cubaton to break his assailant's wrist, then punched it into the man's shoulder and then neck. Both attackers fell to the ground in unison. The sailor stood for a moment in shock and then fled. Sparkane and Santa turned away and resumed their walk. Anyway, Sparkane continued, the best part is, oh hell, never mind, you'll be saving lives. At full salary, double. Done. Blast. Santana muttered something vaguely obscene under his breath. Crew, your mechanic is Benjamin Fuller, a well-qualified gentleman. You like him, but otherwise your pick. And you, I'm your navigator. How is that my pick? Santana stopped. Wait, this Fuller guy, don't I know him? You know him as Spanner. Santana slapped his forehead, striking himself with his own weapon. Christ on toast. And the rest of the crew, are they Donner, Blitzit, and Cupid? Oh, don't be daft. You can pick the pilot yourself. Pilots? I thought I was the pilot. Sparkane waved vaguely. It's a mini-aircraft carrier. You'll like it. Santana sighed. I hate you. Is that a yes? Does it matter? Glad to hear it. I'm looking forward to working with you again, Captain Santa. Oh no, not that nonsense again. Sparkane shrugged. Randolph suggested it, and the other pilots thought it was all brilliant. Fine. But if I'm Captain Santa, then you have to call me sir. Sparkane patted his old friend on the back and guided him along into the night. Oh well, that's not happening. Thank you.